incredible.
With apps on every device, they bring delight. Oh, yeah.
I knew you love it.
Dude, it is so good. I mean, what a time.
The future is bright. Yeah, 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 yeah. Rad TV, changing the breaking the rules.
Oh my gosh.
Stories unfold. With Web3 and AI, they pave the way. Reimagining the future every single day. Oh,
It's unreal.
Unreal.
I honestly, I can't believe this is where we are.
I cannot believe it. It is unbelievable. So I started messing with it a little bit last night, and I've been messing with all the image creators and text to image prompts for a couple weeks, and just trying to understand the tool set a little bit more, because I'm talking to so many people that do. So I was like, might as well give Suno. I make music, so I might as well give Suno a try. And went in and could not believe the outputs. I'm talking, you type 2 sentences, and in just a minute, like, it creates something that would take me weeks, months, a year to create, depending on what is happening. And it is unreal, unreal.
Crazy.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm recording this, everyone, just so you know that this is not just a X recording. This is an actual recording. That's separate from X, that will go on Rad TV everywhere. And we are actually going to semi-monetize this, not for Rad, so to speak, but more so for the guests that are with us today. We're going to take their wallets and we're going to add them as payouts on the content. And every time that somebody purchases this for, $1 or $2, whatever we make it, you all will get paid out. And we figure might as well start with using our own product and making it special. I'm glad you all like that. Heather, Creatress, Valerie, welcome. And don't be afraid to come off of mute and stay off of mute. This is super casual. We're just having a great time. We've got our CEO, King Tony, joining us today. We don't have a super agenda. We're just here to have fun, talk about the space, and really want to get some insight from Heather, Creatress, and Valerie, and whoever else is willing to step up to the stage and talk about, your creative processes, where we think we are in the space and what we think is next, what tool sets you're using, pretty much anything you're willing to share that's not, you're giving away too much of your secret sauce. I know you all have your your workflows that you don't want to share with everyone, but I feel like it's a pretty unbelievable time. We just kicked off with that song. That's a Rad TV specific song that took 1 minute to make by typing in a very simple prompt. And that's where we are. We're at a place where you can make a pop song in 30 seconds. And I mean, why does Rad not have a Spotify channel now that we're pumping out hits? Might as well start getting the royalties everywhere. So let's go ahead and get started. Heather, you and I talked last week and had a great conversation. You have such an interesting path to where you are now, and it was great speaking with you and getting to know you, and excited to hear about everything you're working on. It was great to get the T2 project on Rad. If you guys aren't familiar, the T2 project is 50 AI creators came together. Nem Perez and Sway Molina were the producers on that. Their accounts are exactly like I just said, just spell out their names. Here on X, they produced that, put together 50 creators from around the world. They all came together and did different scenes for a T2 parody. And if you guys haven't checked that out, it's on Rad. It's exclusively streaming on Rad right now. It's at the top of our homepage. You can't miss it. You can watch it for free. And we think it is an incredible piece of content that really showcases where we are today as far as AI video creation goes. And is it Is it put everybody out of business in Hollywood today? Absolutely not. But is it definitely on its way to disrupting everything we've thought about traditional creation of content? 100%, without a doubt. I've been making music for 20 years, and I don't know if anything has floored me like the creation of these tools, especially the Suno AI. I mean, to type in 2 sentences and get a Rad TV song, like
It's wild.
it is unbelievable.
It's wild.
So, and Creatress and Valerie, we spoke with you all last week, and love everything you guys are doing in the Web3 space. Creatress with your VR work, you're always out at live events, crushing it, and we figured you all would be an excellent first group to have on the show here. And like I said, super casual, so feel free to jump off of mute and get in here and don't be afraid to interrupt. This isn't our show. This is your all show, and we're looking forward to learning from you all. So with all that said, let's kick it off with Heather. And Heather, welcome today. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, Cam, and nice to meet you, Tony. But yeah, I just found out about Rad TV recently, and it's a really interesting platform, and the whole concept of what creators can do, a different type of creation and monetization, because that's really my main goal when I came onto this platform, not just to monetize, but to earn something where I could make this my full-time career, because it brings me joy to do it rather than I'd rather have my own schedule, and in the process teaching other people and sharing things. I love generative AI. Even before I got so much into just I just like sharing information and helping people, and also learning a lot of different things, copywriting and different things like that I've learned since I started writing online. But when you mentioned the T2 remake project, and I participated in that as a poster designer.
Yeah,
So I
awesome
created a
posters.
poster. Thank you. And it was such a great experience. It was several months long, but I just wanted to say, because a lot of people don't seem to get it in the community, how many tools and how much different technology was used to make those scenes.
Hmm.
And I hope somebody one day, hopefully Nem or Sway, has a list, but to just kind of itemize the different tools. If everybody put all the different things that they use and all the different types of generative AI to make that, and also traditional tools, you would be amazed at the different ways. And everybody had different workflows too.
Right.
But just working on, even just working on posters, how do I decide how to generate these images, come up with an idea without using original content from the original movie, and just having to think outside the box. That's what I love doing that, and just kind of thinking of a different way to do things. But it's so great to see so many different people who never would have dreamed of being involved in something like that,
Right.
to see their names involved and to have the opportunity to do that. And that's the best thing about the technology right now, Suno and everything, that people can tell stories however they choose. And people who didn't have access or a platform to do that can now, get this, create whatever you want and post it out there. And hopefully somebody will see it. Maybe not, but you actually got to achieve that. And
Right. I
that's the great thing
can't be
about it.
creating hope knowing everybody's going to see it. I mean, Disney can't even guarantee everybody's going to see what they make. So you just got to do it for the love initially. I got a question for you. How much content were you making prior to jumping in the AI space? And the reason I ask that is I'm wondering what your feel is on how much traditional content creation of like production of the past, how important do you think that knowledge is translating into this new era? Do you feel like it's pretty dependent on that, and that you need the old skill sets of editing and file management and understanding of editing platforms and stuff? Or do you feel like that's not really necessary and just go ahead and jump in?
No, I'm kind of a stickler. And before I started just focusing on AI, I was blogging and writing on X. And I wrote, different things about how to create accessible content, how to, how to structure your posts, how to use your white space for, how people to help people read and for your flow of writing. So I'm a stickler with trying to learn some basics, even for people who are creative and they're creating art or visuals and Suno. If you want people to read it, you have to structure it in a way that they're going to pay attention to it and not keep scrolling. So your copy is going to matter, and I think it helps for that. So editing skills, I think you should at least use, if you don't know how to do it, use those sites, the AI apps to help you do it. Use ChatGPT or whatever to help you write copy. Also to translate it. If English is not your first language, use those things to help you translate that in the way that it's spoken. In so that people that you can catch on to that, especially if you're writing on this platform or others, and it needs to be in English, that because that's the predominant language on there. Unless you're writing, you can also translate it to another language. But I think those kind of things are helpful for people to give you a boost to do that. Before I was generating images and things like that, I was writing every day. Like I wrote a 60-day challenge I wrote on Medium. I have a blog on Medium. Every single day I wrote an article. And I normally can't just stop at like 150 words. I'll do 250 to 1,000 words. But I've learned on X how to trim that down significantly. And that's a really helpful thing, how to get your point across there. So I would make visuals for my article headers, for the blog post image, things like that. And then occasionally I would make some posts on X. I didn't normally just post all visuals, but now, so I since this technology, and the more that's available, I produce even more because I can, and I can streamline things and just get a lot more out because I use those tools to help me write for my newsletter, for X, for I'm doing things on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. So it just helps me get spread across all those different platforms.
Right. What tools are you using currently, and which, if you have a favorite, we'd love to hear it. And what do you think is the future of those tools at the moment? What's really driving your creativity, and which one are you leaning into the most?
I use so many, it kind of depends. And I also use a lot because I'm trying to teach people about how, especially if I get access to something, if I get early access, I want to use it as much as possible so I can show people so they don't have to waste credits and things like that once they get access, or if they're able to get that or decide whether or not they're going to spend the money on a subscription. But one of the things I use more frequently than I ever imagined is CapCut because it has a browser app, the desktop app, mobile app, and I probably put more hours in there. I just throw everything in there. It's so easy to put together. I used to use Canva a lot, but I use probably CapCut is easier for me for mobile and web and all that. And it's pretty simple to use and I can also change the layout pretty quickly. You can do this in Canva too, and I'm a strong, I love Canva, but I'm not really that good at Photoshop and Premiere Pro and things like that, DaVinci Resolve. So I have to go to the things that I don't have an art background or design background. I use things that regular people could use, and it's a little bit easier for me. But CapCut is my main thing that I go to. I use a lot of different sounds. I've often used Epidemic Sound because the music on CapCut sometimes it will get muted on TikTok even though it's the same company I believe. So I went ahead and got a subscription to Epidemic Sound because it's copyright free music and I don't have to generate it because it takes me too long. I'm not a musician, so I just go ahead and do that and pull it down. Epidemic Sound now has a plugin inside the CapCut app. I noticed recently, so that helps. I don't even have to go to a different
Wow.
site. But I also like, say I have a video, you can drag your video into Epidemic Sound and it'll find music that'll match it. Now there's a couple others. I think Newbert does that, and I believe Cassette AI might have just started doing that too. So that's kind of helpful if you don't really know what you want, what type of background music you want on there. you can just drag it in there and it'll identify and give you somewhere to start from for people that don't really know what they're doing. Don't know if you don't even know where to start from, like what kind of style music would be good for that.
It's really
So,
interesting that you just named three things that I've never heard of. And
oh,
I'm paying attention to this space pretty much all day, every day. I have multiple lists
Yeah,
of people.
seriously.
oh
It's
no,
incredible.
I'm like the tool repository. I know. I swear. I don't know. I used to only just write tools, really, but no, yeah, those are all the music tools. Traxie's out there. Hydra. There's so many different ones right now, but there's certain ones that I like. I like tools that you can do multiple things with. And when I can use Epidemic Sounds in another app, and I can drag it in there, drag it in a video, and get an idea of where to start from. I like CapCut because not only can I edit videos, I can also it'll write a script for you. It'll generate images. It'll generate a background. It has like background removal, all kind of other AI tools inside of CapCut, but you can also do the same in Canva and some other platforms. So I like platforms that have multiple uses, multimodal. ChatGPT is I use it a lot because I can drop a picture in there, and I do this all the time. I'll go on a Midjourney community page, find an image I like, and then I'll paste it into ChatGPT, and I use the Civet AI prompt bot because it writes really good stable diffusion prompts. And I'll just say, can you give me 10 image prompts in this style using this type of color and perspective or something like that? And then it gives me, and that's where most of my prompts come from, things like that. So,
Awesome.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
It's very cool.
You're dropping so much knowledge right now. I
Yes,
mean, I know
absolutely.
a lot of people who are on this space are kind of in this space as well, and so they understand what you're saying to a large degree. But we work with a lot of people in this like traditional kind of studio business, and old media companies, right? And so for them to hear things like this and hear all the tools that have emerged in what 6 months now, like the
Right.
last, it's like,
Feels like
and
6 days.
yeah, and just like the workflow changes that are coming is really tremendous. So very appreciative to hear that workflow and like hear what
Same.
you're putting out there. And I just had a question like as it came up because and I know we've got a lot more to get through, but I'm just curious how you feel about what Cam mentioned it at the beginning, but basically like the fact that you can type a prompt in and just make a full blown pop song in like 1 minute. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that like these tools can save time, but it's also, learning curve that then re-adds time, and then editing that might re-add time that, you didn't have to do before to get a good quality output. Just curious, like how you see how your workflow has changed, and like, do you see like a multiplier in terms of like your ability to scale, but keep the quality consistent, right? Like, are you finding that
Mhm.
you save a ton of time on the creation, and then like you add time like with learning curves and like learning new tools, or is it just like,
Yep.
oh, I'm 100x more productive here?
Oh no, no, it's just what you said at first. The former with I'm way more productive, but there's a really big need because of all these tools that I do spend the majority of time when I'm not just streamlining it, trying to learn how to use a certain thing. And these tools, I tell brands, even my spaces a lot too. You have to help us get through the onboarding. You have to make it easy for us to have some docs or something to go to because we can't. I'll sit there and I don't really know how to use half of the features because I saw a quick video, a demo, but it didn't really help. Or if you say there's something on YouTube, I don't learn just by watching. I have to kind of have some docs to refer
Same.
to and go back to it. So the documentation is important, and then also listen to us when we ask questions, add that information because that's we can't teach people or show people the product if we don't know how to use it. And I'm not using a lot of things effectively because I don't know how to use half the stuff and I don't have time. I work full time. I have a 9 to 5. I have 4 kids, and I do this. So I'm basically working
Incredible.
2 full-time
Yeah, God
jobs.
bless. Jeez.
And
Yeah.
it's like I'm like up all the time. I barely sleep, but I mean, I love doing this. But it's kind of like, help me out, please, so that I can get through this stuff. But I am able to produce a lot of stuff where it would have taken me. I would have never been able to. I mean, get. I have things sitting in my folders right now that I could post something every hour, but it's like, what, the algorithm. I don't want to overload that, but and
Mhm.
it kind of dilutes it. But yeah, I think this stuff, for things like Suno and adding those things in there, it's like I don't use it much because I'm just not into making the music as much.
Hmm.
But I do see, like, with the video aspect and things like that, I think it's great. And it's kind of like, then what do you do with it after that? And then how you get it into a format. You just post it like that. When you post it, are you going to edit it further? Are you going to add it into something else? And then that's when I get into all the other tools that you can use to put it together with other pieces of content.
Awesome. Last night I was looking at Pika Labs. I was looking at their lip sync tools and watched a couple of tutorials. And you mentioned having docs. I thought it was really interesting in the middle of the um, demo video I watched of how to use it, that there's actually a couple cheat sheets that are very specific commands for how to get the shots you want based on just a couple little terms, and that it is super reactive because these are built in. And to not know that information, just to go in and type in whatever you want to happen and think like it's going to happen, you think that you're going to get what you want. But once I watched this demo, I was like, wait a second, you can change. They're changing frames per second. They're changing the perspective of the camera. They're changing the way things move. And like with speed, with height and adjustments, they're changing the shot of what is focused on in the output. And it's all from very specific prompt cues that get the system to know exactly what you want. And I was like, man, you could work on this for a year and you're never going to figure that out. It's a very specific, like four weird, it's like an abbreviation of words that are maybe, let's call them like an industry standard or the tool standard or whatever. But for that to be such an integral part and to not know that, I would venture that 95% plus people that are using the tools don't know that those videos exist and that there's like an actual PDF put out by the company that shows you exactly what you should be putting in.
How
I
to
was
do it.
I was blown away by that.
People still don't even know that you can put a minus sign in a Google search
Right,
and
right.
to like
Exactly.
remove words from it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, this just
absolutely.
multiplied it by 1,000. Yeah.
Heather, you
Thank you for
mentioned
that
that.
tip.
Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Sorry.
I didn't realize that either. The Google search.
We're all learning here. Hey, this is a learning space. Like I said, super casual. There's no bad questions. Heather, you brought up something the first time we spoke that you are using. You recorded your voice or programmed your voice, and now you're using the program you created to actually do your voiceovers. And I found that incredible and thought that, how amazing it is to everything starts with the written word. And I think that is, something that a lot of people in the space overlook is that you're like, oh, a prompt. And you think a prompt is just the few words that you're typing in, but it is literally the source file for whatever it is you're creating. And that's how all things work. You start with a script or you start with an idea written down that turns into a script eventually, or however it works. Start with writing something down that ends up being a storyboard, but then you have to, put it together, whether that's a comic book or a movie, whatever. It's so important to have that written piece. And now you have recorded your voice, programmed a tool that is your voice. And I remember you saying, like, and I'm sorry if I shouldn't share this, but you were saying like your kids were creeped out by it and they're like, no, we don't want to hear that.
No, you
And
can share it.
I thought that was pretty interesting. And I want, like, how what's the feedback you've got from that? Do people saying it actually sound like, do people even know it's not you? What's the turnaround on that?
I haven't heard anyone mention it on the few videos that we've done. And actually, I see Tommy here. Thomas Haynes is my business partner, and I cloned my voice because he helps me make some of these videos and put and edit these videos. So he's in the UK and I'm in the US, and that way I can give him some videos or some he'll put them together, an idea, and he uses my voice, my clone voice, on 11 Labs. I also cloned it on Runway too, but 11 Labs is more. It sounds exactly like me, and it's scary a little bit to me,
Wow.
honestly. But it does. You would not know that it's not me. So I don't think anybody that has seen a couple of videos that we posted on YouTube. Mainly, it's just that's the cloned voice. It doesn't have a whole lot of emotion. You can't do that too well, but it's definitely it sounds like we just put some relaxing music on. Thomas put that on there for I think the Magnifique. No, I did the Magnifique was myself. I think we sped it up, but it was one of the remix prompts or something like that we were showing. But it was pretty convincing. I haven't had
My
a single
my
person ask me.
my family is now terrified because I've warned them that somebody could clone my voice and call them
Right.
and try to scam them. And
Yeah,
I've shown them
I wouldn't have
examples.
worried about it before,
And
but now it because it did it within a couple seconds. I just
it's crazy.
uploaded a minute and a half, and it said okay, and I started typing and generating my voice, and it sounded so real. I kind of thought it was like a mistake.
It's incredible.
It scared you. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny. That's great. We love to keep talking to you, and we'll be right back to you, Heather. But I want to jump over to Creatress and Valerie. Welcome, Queens. Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate you being here.
GM.
GM.
GM. It's always so nice to hear. Is this Cameron
Yeah,
behind the
this
rest?
is Cameron. Yes, it is. Cameron and our CEO, Tony, is joining us as well.
Hey.
Hello. Yeah, it's always nice when Cameron's always saying GM Queens.
Hey.
Feels so nice.
Hey, I love it. You know, I really felt a huge shift in the community overall when the GM energy picked up. It really is. You know, a lot of people make fun of it and say it's engagement farming. But what a great way to start the day off every day with a bunch of people saying good morning to each other and sharing great energy. And if you don't like that, that's a you problem.
Could be worse.
Yeah, it's a you problem. That has nothing to do with corniness or nothing. It is incredible energy. And to start every day off in a space with so much negativity resulting from rug pulls or people's wallets getting drained, it's a really refreshing place on X to be able to show up and share that energy every day. So thank you for sharing that with me. I appreciate that. And good morning, Queens.
Yes, good morning. Yeah, me and Creatress literally every day we text each other, GM. Creatress likes to add like a little text with her noggles. So it's a nice little thing, and I've gotten used to it. It's kind of crazy. Like every day, it's hard to not just say GM.
Yeah.
To people in person.
I agree. Yeah. And it's, we haven't missed a day since I want to say like April 2022. We've been GMing every day. And it's a huge part of our community. We've met so many incredible people and connected with so many people just by saying good morning. And before you know it, you're DMing each other. Then you're in Discord talking. Then you're on Spaces together. And it's like, now we're going to meet in real life at whatever ETH event was coming up. The world is getting very small with X. So, you both are working on a ton of stuff. You've got a bunch of shows going on. Creatress traveling all over the place, doing art installations and live performances. She's incredible. She performed at our show. We rented out a big club in New York City a couple years ago for an NFT NYC event, and Creatress came and did an awesome VR performance, and she does them all the time. She's all over the place traveling with them. They also have a show called There's Layers to This, and that's streaming on Rad, and it streams live on X and Twitch and YouTube and probably 3 other places. I know they're busy girls, and they're always like they're literally touching every platform. So we started as a VR platform. Our company was formerly called Little Star, and we were the first VR platform to support VR creators totally. It was all we were focused on, and that opened up a lot of doors for us to Sony, and getting our apps inside of a lot of ecosystems, because VR had such a hot moment in 2015, 2016, 2017. And Creatress is really, I think, maybe the leading creator in the VR space at the moment. And to see that she's stuck with it as long as she has, and she rode out the bull market of VR, if you will, and she rode it all the way from it being the pinnacle part of media. We all remember 3D TVs were coming out and VR took over. It was like a huge thing. And then it kind of died down and there was a lull. She's been doing it the whole time. She's showing up to tons of events, and she has an incredible body of work that she's created. So I want to give her a shout out for sticking with something she loves through what would be considered the bear market of what she does. And now she's made it to this place to where it looks like Web3, VR, and AI are kind of converging into this space that we don't really have the words for it yet. And it seems like you are the leader there. That is, you're creating spatial pieces of art in a way that not many people are. Most people are just generating those, and you're in actually designing them by hand. So I want to give you a round of applause for that. And just hand the mic off to you guys. What are you up to right now? Where are you recording? What's next for you? Where's your next show? And what's going on?
Oh my
I'll
goodness.
let Creatress go first. Go for it, Creatress.
Oh, I just gotta say thank you so much for recognizing the work that's gone into it, and definitely feels like it wasn't just the NFT and Web3 bear market, right? Definitely wrote it in there. Yeah, it's been a fun journey. Like the first time I picked up the headset, it wasn't owned by Meta yet, right? It was still called the Oculus when I got it. And so just seeing the changes with Meta acquiring them and then putting out another, the Pro headset, and then putting out the Meta Quest 3, and then also, and now Apple, right? Like the big one. Like I feel like Apple kind of is like the bull market signal for VR,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm stoked. I'm glad I made it all the way through and didn't give up on it. But I also do love AI, right? So I have kind of brought them together in my workflow. Something I wanted to mention, like one of the 360 environments that I perform in, right? Like the virtual studio, that box, that kind of skybox, that's 360 environment, I made with AI, a couple of them. So you can make these 360. They're called equilateral. God, I'm HDRI, I believe is what it is. And you can make those with Blockade Labs, which is an AI tool that I've used a few times. Really easy. I see Heather's giving me 100, so I think she knows it.
She knows for sure.
I know she does. I go to her spaces, by the way, Heather. I love your spaces. I hardly ever come up and speak, but I'm always trying to tune in and listen, because I know there's so many tools that I don't know about, like the epidemic one. I've been taking notes, guys. But back to your question, Cameron. Yeah, so we got so much going on. Performances in New York. I wrote an article about where you can find my art and where you can find my performances that week. I've got something almost every single day, but the one I'm most excited about is on April 3rd at the official NFT NYC event. I'm performing with Eunice and Tyspectives. So I'll be doing my usual 3D sculpting. Tyspectives will be singing live and then doing movement live, because she's both a singer and a dancer. And then Eunice, who you may know, is going to come in and do her song Chasing Magic, which is an NFT that's currently minting. I think it's an open edition. And so she's going to close out the show with her song live. So I've never done something like that with two other women. So I'm really excited for that one. And then afterwards, we may actually mint a clip from the performance as an NFT.
Awesome.
So I don't know, Rad, maybe we could talk about that sometime.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
We're here when you're ready. We're here.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm really stoked. And so yeah, that's coming up next week. And then in terms of there's layers to this, our show, we do have a show on Monday. Actually, we're gonna do a show on Monday. We're actually announcing a Bitcoin giveaway we're doing. We're gonna announce the winner. So
Awesome.
if you're into Bitcoin, by the way, we got a giveaway running
Pretty sure
for
everybody
$100.
here's into Bitcoin.
Pretty sure. Just saying. I'm just saying. I'll drop the.
They're
I'll drop
into it
the
when it's at
details in the.
70,000 for sure. You know.
If you're not
Yeah,
at this point, you're just mad you missed it. Like,
yeah.
or you could go, enter the giveaway if you're
Oh, how do people enter? Don't be afraid. Plug it. Like I said, it's casual. Don't be scared.
Yeah, so basically, another thing, a grant that Valerie and I won through ICP, which is Internet Computer Protocol. If anyone doesn't know about it, it's a blockchain that introduces cloud computing into blockchain, right? So if you have a project, you have a website, anything that requires a lot of data storage, you can now use the blockchain. So they gave us a grant, and that is part of what we're going to do in New York. We're actually going to record some content at an event that we're helping produce with Oni, Ordinals, Nifty Kit, a few other people. Tony?
nice. Yeah. No, I was just gonna say that's awesome. I know some of the one of the guys who leaned heavily into internet computer a long time ago, and I'm glad to hear that they are, continuing to push because, I feel like we've talked about this a lot internally, and this goes into the what are people using to do things in this space in its entirety. And so, thankful that there are new things that are, continuing to grow because you see things like Ethereum and, somebody wants to do a mint or do a swap and it's, then you're like $50 for, for gas fees or whatever, it's, so it's good to hear that, you're doing things with ICP and, yeah, that's really cool.
Hey, that's great confirmation. Awesome, Tony. I'm happy to hear that. I'm relatively new to it. I've been learning a lot, but it is really, really great. Like the fees to do anything are actually pretty much none because they have a whole different system where it's like the person who makes the contract like loads it with ICP gas, and so when someone interacts with it, they don't have to pay. It's because the person who
That's
made the DAO.
incredible.
It's wild, and I won't get too nerdy on it. And I'm not a dev. This is just how I've understood it. But for the giveaway, back to the giveaway, I see Valerie pinned it up top. So I won't bore you all with reading it, but you guys can go read it. It's very well laid out. You got to make your ICP ID, which very quick, very easy. Make a tweet with it, and then join our open chat. Group, which open chat, for anyone who doesn't know, it's just like imagine Telegram, but you have it on your browser, and how you sign in is with your ICP ID. And so essentially it's like on-chain messaging. It's super safe. They have a bunch of security got like things in order. I won't go into it because I don't want to get too techy, but essentially every single dApp that you interact with, that you connect your ICP ID to, every single dApp gives you your own wallet within that dApp, like a fresh new wallet. And anytime you need to use ICP, you send ICP to that wallet, and then you can interact within that dApp. So you're never compromising your main wallet, if that makes any sense to anybody.
Yeah, it does. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's that. So that's how you enter the giveaway. Good luck. We're calling it on Monday. But yeah, we're gonna be doing a panel over there about ordinals in New York. We're also going to be doing a giveaway during the event for more BTC. And yeah, we made some really cool custom merch. And that panel will also be live streamed. And later on, I don't know, maybe it'll show up on our channel on Rad as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Val, did I miss anything?
We need to hear. Go ahead. We need to hear about. There's layers to this, Val. We need to hear all the things that are going on with that show.
Yeah, no, Creatress, like that was the best job you've done, Creatress, giving an overview of all the things. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you, Rad TV, for having us on
Thanks
as
for
guests
coming.
today. Yeah. So yeah, we're really excited about There's Layers to This. So for anyone who doesn't know, There's Layers to This is a show that Creatress and I and our other co-host Tyler started off as an X space. So we really got inspiration from an NFT that Tyler holds. It's called a Cryptode, and Cryptodes are a CC0 collection, which anyone can literally right click and save that NFT and use it as they wish. You can monetize it, you can make stickers out of it. And most people are like, well, why would you do that? Most people are into the IP rights of NFTs. But with CC0, we really encourage everyone to share the brand and get it out there. And so you probably heard of Steamboat Willie became a CC0. I believe now Winnie the Pooh is CC0.
Yep.
So
Yep.
now people can make merch with that stuff and sell it. So I think it's pretty cool. And those are characters people have loved for years, And so that's kind of Cryptoad's mission as well, is to get people to love the toads. And so we really fell in love with Tyler's Cryptoad. He has an orange toad, which is like this pixelated version, and it's orange. It's the logo that we use for our show. There's layers to this, and we got the name There's Layers to This because the toad has a trait called tabby, and that's the orange tabby cat. And it made us think about Garfield. If you know Garfield, Garfield is an orange tabby cat, and his favorite food is lasagna. And
Same, same.
right, same,
You got the
yes,
layers.
same,
I see where you're going, Val. I see where
yes,
you're going.
exactly. So
Amazing.
lasagnas, the layers is so symbolic of us as humans that have different layers. And of course, blockchain has different layers. And just like literally the world and tech and everything around us, there's literally layers to this. And so that was really the inspiration for the title of our show, There's Layers to This. And it was just meant to be super fun and laid back, a little bit different than some of the spaces you may hear, talking about all the meme coins and what are we trading. And so we wanted to just bring some positivity, light, and fun and laughter to the space. And so we have a really, really good time. Tyler used to work as the marketing manager for Tony Robbins, who's the motivational speaker.
Wow.
And so he has like a lot of crazy funny stories to share. And so that's kind of how we started, was like, Tyler, you take the show, like you are the character. So he built this character around the Cryptode. He named him Lorenzo, and so Tyler acts as this like Italian boss who works for Lorenzo. And he literally created the toad, the NFT, and put it into a pillow, like a life-size pillow, and started creating content. He went wild with it. And if you know Tyler, Tyler's normally like likes to stay behind the scenes, does not like to be on camera, but he was able to take on this persona, and he just was awesome with it. And like his kids love it, and like a lot of people just fell in love with the content. And so yeah, he comes on our show, does his funny Italian accent, and we end up talking about Web3 art and toads and everything in between. And so this has developed even more than just us X spaces at this point. Like you guys mentioned, Creatress was really like, hey, let's start pushing this out. Let's take this seriously. And so, we're on LinkedIn, Twitch, Rad TV, YouTube, all the platforms. And people started to take note and started, showing up. And, we had some awesome guests on our show too, giving education about what's going on. We were able to, capture some of like Web3 happenings and the things that are happening live on our show. I think when Bitcoin hit like an all-time high at one point, was on our show. When the ETFs were approved, that was live on our show. So we really got a good time slot. This is every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific. We just started a new Twitter for it, so you guys can go ahead and follow. The handle is at There's Layers too. So
Feel free to post
unfortunately,
something here like you did the giveaway. Feel free to post something from that account so people can follow.
okay, great. Yeah, Creatress, if you can take care of that, I appreciate it. Um, so yeah, we're bringing this. We're really excited to bring this to Rad TV and just syndicate it out there, get it in front of more eyes and viewerships. And like Creatress mentioned earlier, we won a grant with ICP. We won a 15,000 grant to bring our show. There's layers to this to New York, and include that with the ICP ecosystem and make content around that. Make content around NFT NYC. Make content with all of the people that are going to be there. And so this is our second time Creatress and I will be doing a show in person. Our very first in-person show was in February at ETH Denver, and ETH Denver was great because they had free podcast studios you could just sign up to,
Wow.
and we were able to use their equipment. They had the cameras, they had microphones, the table, the chair, the backgrounds, they had it all, and they just uploaded our content onto a USB right after. So
That is
that was
amazing.
yes, that was really exciting for us. That was a huge moment for us to see each other in person, because normally Creatress and I, we do the X spaces, but we also live stream. So I'm so used to just seeing her upper half. So I was like, oh, I get to see your legs this time. So, you know, it was pretty fun. We had a good time, but yeah, I'll let Creatress talk more about, what we're doing with There's Layers to This, what, we're looking forward to in the future, and where we plan on going.
Yeah, we appreciate you having us on too. We enjoyed our
For
time
sure.
there, and yeah, absolutely.
You brought up something. I don't want to derail the conversation, but I feel like it kind of ties everything that we're talking about here as a group together. You brought up that Tyler doesn't really like being out in front of everybody and ended up creating a persona. And that's something that we've talked about internally at Rad quite a bit, because that is what these tools really empower. We are seeing kind of the Black Mirror moment. I'm not sure who all here is familiar with Black Mirror, but there was a character called Waldo that was a blue bear that ended up like running for president or whatever it was in the episode. And this bear took on a comedian's personality, and everybody's cheering for the bear, but the person behind it didn't have to put their face on it. They just got to be the energy and creativity behind it. And I feel like that's here now. We are at a place where somebody who's not super comfortable putting themselves in front of everyone in the world can create a character and voice it, and write the lore behind them, create the entire story. And now we are going to, in the next, let's say the next year, we are certainly going to see a stand-up comedian that we don't know who the person is. And like the George Carlin thing that just came out, it came out probably a month ago now. There was like a whole George Carlin AI piece that was going around, and it's, it sounded similar to George Carlin. The energy of the jokes was similar. But I really think that that's very empowering to people that may feel a stage fright, for lack of a better term, or not wanting to put themselves out there like that. And how amazing is it that that's where we are right now in what an exciting time to be alive and be a creator and understand these tools and not have those boundaries, as well as like the budget barriers to entry that have limited so many from creating the things that they want to make. So it's really interesting that you bring that up, and that you guys have a show that is actually showcasing somebody doing that. And I would say, like, don't underestimate the power that has of not having to be a person in front of everyone that you have to answer to, because we all know how many people out here are getting canceled for their opinions or the way they think or the way they tell a joke. And this technology kind of empowers the anon energy, or the decentralized energy of, you can't stop this. I'll be who I want to be, or I'm going to project the energy I want to project, that I'm inspired to do in my small office space or with my tablet. And we're seeing so many people right now at Rad that are creating with just a smartphone. And that is, that is a new development in the creation process of, for so long you needed to have a desktop computer or a pretty powerful machine, and now there's people out here that are creating incredible content with just a couple $100 phone and an internet connection, and utilizing free tools or two $10 a month tools or something. So just want to give you guys props on kind of empowering Tyler to do that and championing him here of saying, he's created this entity and is acting through that. Very cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I think we've kind of seen the evolution of that, right? I think with like Instagram filters, right, people can kind of change their faces with cool designs, where an AI generated mask or augmented reality kind of thing. So I think we've kind of seen like that go from, okay, now we have VTubers, right, virtual YouTubers who are using these like avatars and like using
Right.
real-time motion to be their character. And that was something like I looked into too, right? Is like, if you're trying to build an IP out, like my profile picture I have here is called ON1 Force, and like I really identify with her, and just the pop of color she has just makes me feel happy and everything that I represent. And so I've even looked into that, and yeah, now you have tools with AI to generate stuff like that as well. So I think we're really seeing an evolution, as you said, like empowering the anon creators, really. And I
Right.
think especially with our times, and we see the younger generations, they're on the TikTok, they're on social medias, and they're on YouTube, and with the Vine days and stuff like that, like getting paid to create content. And I know there's tons of kids these days who would love to do something like that. And of course, like also too, like the imposter syndrome and
Yep.
self-doubt, like all
Yep.
those ideas that come into play, and the ego sometimes. And it can be challenging, but I love that there's tools now to help empower and encourage, just to get out there, because everyone does have a voice, everyone does have an opinion and something to bring to the table.
Agreed.
And I just think it's awesome that more people are doing that, and using technology to feel empowered, basically.
Yep. Agreed.
Mhm.
It's
Well,
Go
yeah,
ahead,
and
Tony.
if there was ever a time to keep your face off the internet,
Yeah.
now's the time. Now's the time to do it. You got algorithms out there scraping every bit of data about it, and that you're posting everywhere. And I mean, Facebook's been grabbing your face for a decade or more, more. So, now more than ever. And even from an art perspective, there's countless examples of, people not knowing who you are and making great art. And so, yeah, I feel like there's a moment right now for sure. And the anon idea that people can be successful without anybody knowing who they are or being a JPEG, as far as anybody else is concerned, is pretty powerful for sure.
And that hasn't been the case, that even on YouTube, you have to put in your social security number. And like, we've dealt with that at Rad. Like Tony's brought that up before of like, there are people right now that we're artists in the space that a lot of people here know that Tony's been talking to. And like, they've flat out told Tony, like, I'm not giving you my name and my information. And like, we're talking to them regularly.
We're like, we've wanted to do deals with that we've had lots of conversations with. We wanted to do deals with, like, in partnership with like Sony or, another big, hardware partner, and they're multi-billion-dollar publicly traded companies. So they need to know who the person is and what they can do to promote things, and can they feature it and whatnot. And because they have to be covered. Right. And there are people that are just like, nope. I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
on to the next. See you out there.
But at the same time, at least we have the tool set now where we can tell them, like, hey, you can come to Rad, enter in a wallet address with any email you want,
just publish
and get paid. Yeah, and like we are there now, so it's not like some tools need to be developed. And this is good segue into a question for all the creators we have here on stage. And Tony Matos, thanks for joining today, King. I invited you to speak. If you want to hang out and not speak, that's cool, but just want you to know I sent you an invite. I'm really interested to know what you ladies think is next. What are you paying attention to in the space right now, and what are you most excited about with AI and with creation and in general? What are you fired up and what's inspiring you right now? And I'm just going to leave it open. Feel free to jump in.
Oh, go ahead, Valerie.
You first, Heather. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I've been doing a lot with the AI video and a lot of the different things that are coming out. And one of the things that I'm excited about are the combination of these platforms that have where you can come up with an idea, the concept, and then generate the images, generate the video, storyline, storyboard, all that. Things that I'm, new to, but a lot of it's something that I'm learning about a lot more, even just to do a little short 30-second clip. But for that type of power to be able to take someone who has a story to tell and be able to create something quickly, and it could be a teacher, it could be a person who wants to make a story for their child, it could be somebody who's posting it online. That to be able to can you imagine the way we can remember stories from our loved ones or different things like that? I wish that I'd had this type of technology available years ago just to kind of, have memories alive or just to tell new stories. So that's one thing. It's happening a lot faster than I expected. And I think probably by the end of the summer, we'll have it so that you can go onto a site and make a full movie, a film, a few minutes long with music and voices and sound effects and everything within, a couple of hours maybe. And even with GPT included so that you can, kind of get ideas for script and have it edit the script for you and things like that. That's just amazing. And it
Yeah,
combines
yeah.
pretty much everything we've been doing for the past year.
Hmm. I think we're getting close to the point where there's going to be enough of a profile about you, and you'll be able to just go into like some AI program and type in "I'm bored," and it'll generate you like a 2-hour movie of like something that you want to watch right then. Because I mean, like, what? Like, I'm bored. All right, well,
It already knows a lot of knows a lot of
yeah,
my preferences.
yeah.
So
Here you go. Go to like type in, I want some stuff to watch this weekend, and go to work on Friday, and then you come back home, and all your stuff is already AI generated for the whole weekend. And I mean, it's wild. Just in time
That's
content
scary.
is coming.
It's
Yeah.
scary. I almost don't even want to know what profile it has on me. I don't know. Who's going to sell us that first? Here, you have to. We're doing background checks on ourselves now. We have to spend. We have to spend $100 to see what it thinks about us, and then we're going to have to do some like Hollywood style cleanup. We're going to have to hire some press, some PR people to fix our image to it. Valerie, go
Oh my
ahead.
goodness.
Yeah, no, I'm excited if we get that AI can generate 2-hour movie for me, because I am so over the remakes in the movie industry. I'm
Oh
ready
my
for some
gosh,
original
agreed.
content from AI. So I'm here for that. Um, but I'm actually excited for like the culmination of all different creators coming together in the metaverse. That's what I'm really excited for. So I've been really following Improbable.io. Improbable is a metaverse company. They've been doing some awesome experiences with, MLB, with K-pop singers, just regular creators, and creating these awesome even gaming experiences where just anyone can come in you with an email, and then just pop, you're in there, you're in the metaverse. And we've seen the founders of Improbable like use AI and say drop a big rubber ducky, and then boom, you're right there, you're in your avatar, you're moving around, and all of a sudden a rubber ducky comes on onto your screen, and everyone's jumping up on the rubber ducky trying to get on top of its head and jump off and stuff like that. So like it's so cool to see them building things in real time and putting things into the metaverse. And then that just makes me super excited, because then I'm like, okay, if we have this tool, I already know there are creators who are using AI for music. I know there are people who are using AI for like product placement and stuff. Like this is crazy. Like I saw an AI the other day called Flare AI, and basically if you have a product, I mean, this AI can generate a whole photo shoot for you without having to have a camera and background scenes and everything. So I'm like, okay, like you're going to be able to have billboards and products in the metaverse. So, and of course the streamers who are going to be able to stream through the metaverse. And so literally the culmination of all of these different creators using AI and the way that they feel empowered to, and all of us coming together, creating something super awesome, super fun for people to enjoy, and of course, then monetizing that. So that's really what I'm excited for. And I feel like I can see this happening within the next 5 years for sure. I think everyone's trying to find their niche, what tools work best. And as the tools keep adapting and evolving, which ones they like more. But definitely within the next 5 years, we're going to have some awesome content. I think cable's done. No one's going back to their
It's
TVs.
over.
It's
Yeah.
over. Because we're going to be so entertained in these spaces and in the metaverse. And, we see it with VR already, and, kids are on their phones. But I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be awesome to experience it.
Oh my gosh, so many cool things. I want it all. I want it all, to be honest. What I think is actually gonna happen, I don't know. I really hope also though, because I'm really into TV and movies. Um, but I also have completely gone tired of all the streaming platforms, like content. Like I've seen it all. I've seen all the good stuff. So I don't yeah, I think that's my hope, that it goes there. Like you guys were saying, like an AI that knows all your taste, right? Like you could maybe import your Netflix history, watch
I thought you were
history,
gonna
or
say
your
all your
Prime watch
darkest
history.
secrets. I was like, don't go there. Don't go there.
That's a different platform. That's like,
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking, like a reasonable amount, right? Or you could just input, you could do that thing where you tell them what genres you like and what movies you like at the beginning. Like that's fine too. You don't have to import data. But something to that effect, I think would be cool, because then it could create content specifically based on what you like. Like I think that would be kind of cool, just because I think I've already seen it all. Like every sci-fi, every adventure movie, all these things. I feel like I watch a new one and I'm like, that was pretty much like that other one, but they tweaked a few things. So yeah, I'm ready for some original content, to be honest. I would like the 3D avatars to be easier to use as well, kind of going back to that whole like having your own identity. So hopefully the AI tools for that kick up a notch. I know it's still a little wonky, and a bit of work to get that set up, but something really easy. Like if StreamYard could integrate like an
Yep.
AI
Yep.
overlay thing, that's my hope. That's my most immediate hope. I'm not gonna go even that far out.
Yeah.
Like that's my most immediate hope for now.
yeah. No, that's really great. I mean, I've said this in previous. This is technically season 2 of the Rad podcast. We've actually done 12 episodes that we have out there, and now this is kind of season 2. But I always used to like to ask that question. I'm thankful that you said something about that, which is like, what's missing in your mind? Like, what could make your day easier in this space, or like tools that might be missing, or what is it that would make it easier? Because we're builders, we love to hear these kinds of things, and just it's also fun to dream about wanting something or something missing from the space. So I'm always curious to hear about that. So yeah, thank you for that. And anybody else, if there's anything that like is frustrating in your day to day, say it. We complain about blockchain gas fees a lot, so
Right. Is there anything, Heather, that you're seeing that you wish existed, and that you're pretty familiar with all the tools? I mean, you've named, I'm not exaggerating, like 6 or 7 tools in a 5-minute span that I've never even heard of, and I literally watch the space all day. It's like it's all I do. That's all I do.
I got spreadsheets full of things.
I bet you
I
do.
just put
I
I
bet.
just put Flare AI on there, but I know I had Flare AI on one of the other ones. Like I remember that one. But as far as missing in the space, I think sometimes there's a lot of I have to jump around to multiple places. I find stuff everywhere, and sometimes just to get a couple of little things done, I have to go hunt down a few apps, free things to convert something to another format or to, transfer it to, storage, whatever for storage space. That would be great if somebody could come up with a really streamlined, easy storage space where I could just save it from my browser or something like that into, I know Dropbox, by the way, it has a ton of AI in it now. I don't know if people realize that in CapCut, you can
Mm,
also use CapCut inside of Dropbox and Google Drive. That's new. But Dropbox also has like a video editor and photo editor inside of it.
Wow.
And you can create workflows inside of your Dropbox. But you have
wow.
to get into, it's a matter of, okay, what's the easiest way to get it there and save it? And then you have to pay for storage and, or get, some type of hard drive, external hard drive. But that kind of thing, I have things all over the place, and it would be nice if I could, get to it faster without having to remember where I stored it, and then just not going through so many steps to
Right.
upload
Mm.
things onto different platforms.
Is that what you're doing right now? Is your flow pretty much create it, then you have to download it, and then decide where to save it, pick out a name? Is that what you're not liking
Oh
about the
yeah.
whole process?
Yeah, because say like I use a lot of different video tools, and you can only generate so many seconds. It's like
Mm-hmm.
4 second clips. So you generate those, and then you have to go through and figure out which ones you're going to use and edit. But what do you do with them in between? It depends on which, like if I'm on a particular site using that, if I'm on a runway, so I'm using Gen 2, they're in my assets there. But what if I want to mix in some others from Pika or
Mm-hmm.
Pixverse or whatever? Then you have to kind of go through, and I need somewhere where I can have all of them for that scene or for whatever that particular video together so that I can edit. And then when you gotta add lip sync or something like that or music, I have files all over the place that have to be combined.
Yeah, it's interesting because usually you would have it's even a different mindset for productivity than it is in traditional content. Like just thinking through that, it's almost all of these pieces are the audio's tied to the video in a pretty, fundamental and inseparable way when you're generating something like lip sync. They're really, intertwined almost like a piece of music is. But traditionally when you record video, 99% of the audio that you hear is recorded in post or added later. And I don't think many people really understand. That kind of follows up with my question that I asked you earlier of what kind of skill set or knowledge in traditional content creation do you think is needed or necessary to be, exceptional or well-rounded using the tools today to be able to output content? It seems like there still is quite a bit of a learning curve of you need to understand video editing, audio editing, and the recording processes therein, and not to mention file management and upkeep, because you generate the 1 4 second clip. If you lose it, well, you either have to redo that work or it's somewhere on your machine and you don't know what it's titled because you have 30 videos titled, Pika Labs output 1-1 or
Yeah.
whatever it
Yeah,
is.
that's pretty. Yeah, because I have to try to figure out. And certain ones generate better for certain types of images or movement too. But what I would tell people, if for skill set, don't think that you have to have a certain type of skill set to get started.
I
You don't.
agree.
You can learn
Yep.
it, and the thing is being flexible, learning however you learn best. If it's YouTube videos, things like that, find that information. If you like to read docs or to see other examples, figure out where you want to go for that type of stuff. You might see things on TikTok or Instagram or on X that help you more than on those other platforms. So use those tools and just be flexible and know a lot of the things are very similar. if you understand how to use one,
Mm-hmm.
you can probably use another. It'll have similar types of commands and different things like that. So don't think that you have to learn a certain skill. You can learn it as you go, and you have chat bots everywhere that you can ask. And usually inside the app, you can ask how to do something.
And I think it's worth saying too. There's so many awesome people in this space, like even in art, just in our Discord, and that's what I'm know most or know well here, community wise. There's so many people that have these skill sets that are looking for people to collaborate with. So like if you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, I wish I could do that thing, I would say don't hesitate DMing, and I'm gonna say it. Maybe they'll be mad at me for saying it, but I would say any of the women on stage, you could DM them and ask them like their process of getting started, what they're doing. And I'm sorry I'm throwing you guys to the wolves of getting DMs for questions here, but like they really have a great idea set of the way these things work, from creating something out of nothing, and especially like Heather's use of AI tools. I don't know if I've spoken to anyone in the last several months that understands and is aware of all the tools the way Heather is. And I mean, she's doing consulting stuff for people. She's creating different projects for people. And from the few conversations I've had with her, she seems to have an abundance of knowledge on the tools available and the processes in which those tools are working the best for her workflow at the moment. Of course, it's not going to be for everybody, but if you guys are thinking about getting started, definitely don't be afraid to DM me. I'm on our X account for Rad, and I'm happy to answer any questions or help steer you in the right direction. And I know the ladies up here are as well. So Valerie and Creatress, are you guys looking to use AI in any more of your shows? I know Creatress said that like your environment that you're creating in was generated by AI. How are you guys seeing AI in your workflows at the moment? And like, what do you see in the near future do you think anything's going to change about the way you're working because of AI? Are you looking at AI thinking, I can't wait for this tool to be available to use in some way? Or how are you guys looking at it as semi-traditional content creators that are still on the cutting edge?
This is a great question. I'd say, we use it a good amount, depending on what I'm doing, right? So I have some art that is purely AI art that has nothing to do with my VR 3D sculpting. So I've got that, right? And for that, kind of similar to you guys, I do use the music tools to make custom kind of sound tracks to my video creations. So yeah, using things like Beethoven is the one that I use for music. It does let you do a text input as well. The one you guys were talking about sounds way better though. The epidemic, I believe, is what you said.
I use Suno, but yeah, Epidemic was what Heather was saying. Yeah.
And Epidemic is not AI music, just so it's just regular. It has music from musicians. It's real music and musicians and sound effects and things like that.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
Oh, I see. So that's just like royalty free.
Yes, and and I think they're pretty ethical with the artists that are they're strictly like Epidemic sounds, from what I understand. But don't hold me to that.
Yeah, don't hold me to that. Definitely. No, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. And then I usually will take music and pair it with video in Kyber. Kyber is the one that I've been using the most. So Kyber is for video. You can also make, well, it's not really for still images, but you could make still images and save the previews they give you before you start your video. So it's pretty cool. I like Kyber and Beethoven for that. In terms of our show, we haven't used AI too much on the show specifically for There's Layers to This. But it is actually, we did use it. Now that I think about it, we have used it for sure. I knew we had, just not a ton. So we made this commercial for There's Layers to This, which was actually played in a theater during an ON1 Force event in LA.
10 KTF event.
10 KTF, my bad.
Yes.
I always get them mixed up, 10 KTF and ON1, because they're both anime projects in a way. And I'm part of both of them on some level. So Anyway, yeah, so it was played at this event live on a huge screen, and part of the AI part was I got this AI avatar, like this talking head of a person that looks like a reporter, and they were saying like, what, Tuesdays are for, like, what do you get when you like combine Toad's art and Web3? There's layers to this. So I was able to use AI, an AI tool within Canva actually. So talking about tools that we already use that have integrated AI, like I think more of that's going to happen. But definitely Canva, I feel like was one of the first that was like, let's do it. So I was able to use one of their apps to make this talking head for it to say what I wanted it to say, and then that was embedded into our
Wow.
overall commercial.
Very cool.
That's one way.
Thanks for sharing that. I did not know that was built into Canva. And I'm starting to see that a lot more often across all the tools we use internally for our workflows at Rad. Like even our email portal that we do all of our email campaigns from has a use AI button in it now. And you can just highlight something, click use AI, and it'll say like, do you want to say this in a new way? Do you want to, what do you want to do basically? And it's so easy.
We have a number of different native speakers inside the company, and we've done translations in the past where you could use Google Translate. It would translate all the strings that are inside of our Apple TV app and Android app and etc. And it never did a very good job. I'm sure you've seen Google Translate in some form or fashion, and it falls over. Then we paid a company to do it, to get it right, to get it exactly right in the past. This cycle we used AI, and the native speakers were like, this is vastly superior to anything Google Translate has done, and we probably don't even need to pay a native speaker now, just because it's like so smart about the nuances there. So yeah, just even things like that in the workflow. That thing alone saved us money and time, and the feedback was that it's like 95% there.
Wow.
Pretty incredible. But we can localize all of our apps now for every language, globally fairly quickly, whereas you used to have to pay a company, depending on the scale of it, a pretty substantial amount of money, because you've got to think like you're translating your app store descriptions, the in-app strings, the website, it's like the documentation, all of those things. You have to pay a company to do that, your marketing materials, etc. And once you start to go down that road, it can be tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars for the big millions of dollars for companies like Blizzard or Activision, whatever. So it's enormous. But for us to just type it in, like, here's a bunch of strings, translate this to Chinese, like it's like incredible. It just spits back a 95% result. And
what a time!
We're off to the races. Yeah.
Yep. Incredible. I saw that. Speaking of AI coming to places, Elon announced the other day, I'm sure many of you saw this, that I see a lot of blue checks in here. If you have a certain amount of verified followers that follow you now, that are paid followers, you're actually going to get the plus for free on X now. So like, it's almost a multi-level marketing of, if you have enough people that are verified paying that follow you, you get it for free, which is incredible, which that's going to give a lot of people access to Grok, however you say it, Grok, I think, that, people didn't have that access before. And it's pretty cool to see that. And, it's changing every day. And I'm talking to AI and Web3 creators pretty much every day. And the energy is incredible. It's just such an exciting time to be a creator and paying attention and thinking about the things that are getting dropped every single day. And just 6 months ago, I was maybe the number one champion of like, I don't know about AI video, guys. Everybody has like 3 left knees and 8 fingers, and like it's all made out of like, everybody's a watercolor being, and like the tree becomes the car, becomes the sidewalk, becomes the house. Like I'm not in. I don't believe it. I don't think so. And then like literally 3 days later, I was like, holy shit, I was wrong. And it's like everything is different, and it seems like any moment a tool could be dropped, and it has. In the past, like, let's say month, 4 or 5 different tools have hit that nobody had a clue that were coming, except for super insiders, that are like, whoa, mind blowing. No way this is real. I can't wait to get my hands on this. This is a game changer. And, things like Sora, now people are saying it's going to be so expensive for a regular creator to use. That's across the board. And I think we can sit around and think all day long that some company's going to be the savior, the champion that's going to drop this tool set to people that unlocks everything. That's never what happened. iTunes is cool, but Napster was really cool, like, and that's what's coming is somebody's going to drop the tool set that anybody can access, and it's going to change everything fundamentally in such an earth-shattering way that it's going to be, well, why would you pay for that tool when you could just pirate the best tool ever? And the only thing it's coming down to at this point is like data availability and GPU power. So it's such an exciting time. And, I love talking with creators about this. I can't believe it's my job. It's really fun. And I appreciate Heather and Creatress and Valerie coming on today. Before we jump off of here and before I ask everybody to give their final shout outs, does anybody that's listening here have any questions for the queens on our panel today? Does anybody want to add anything before we wrap this up? I said an hour and we're already at an hour and 20 minutes, so I don't want to steal any more of these ladies' time today.
Happens fast.
It sure does, especially when you're having fun and enjoying it.
Hey, I had a question from the audience in my DMs actually, so I'll share that. I don't think he's here anymore, but Wiz, I put actually in the comments, it looks like he wrote about our podcast or about this space on his Substack, actually.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, check this out. I'll pin it at the top so you guys can see. He made a post about it. So he said he has interviewed the founder or the creator of the AI tool, Retro Diffusion. So he was just wondering if you guys had heard of it, if you know about it. Looks like it's a pixel art tool. So it lets you like resize pixel art images to make them like less pixely or more detailed. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that since he asked.
Thanks. Yeah, I saw Wiz in here, but I wasn't sure where he was coming from at the time, and we didn't follow him, so he wasn't part of the community. I was like, I don't know, it's not time yet to take questions, and I wanted to hear from you all first. So thanks for sharing that with us, and sorry we missed you, Wiz. Feel free to come back and join us next time. I did just add a couple of people that requested to speak, Steven and Horace. Feel free to jump in, Steven or Horace, if you guys have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a question. So I've done countless images at this point, but printing them has always been something of a interesting journey because you never get the exact same print, and a lot of times with AI, you don't deal with a lot of vectors. Have you guys seen or heard of anything coming up that is going to create those vectors for potential screen printings in the future?
Heather,
Ooh,
expert Heather. I think that's for you.
Well, unfortunately, yeah, for that one, for the vectors and things like that, it's more like a graphic design, and I'm gonna stay in my lane. That's not my thing. But I know, is it Canva that just it's something that they just released a new feature that turns your images into vectors. I don't know if that will help it streamline it. And I know not Canva, Adobe. Oh my gosh, Adobe just had their summit. They have something like that where they also have something with the workflow, and I think the enterprise where they're trying to streamline the workflow, and there's a lot more AI involved with it. So I think it might possibly be on Adobe Firefly, the vector image to vector, I think, or it might be Illustrator, but don't hold me to that. As far, getting it to something, I don't know if that helps with the printing and the resolution and things like that. I can't help you there, unfortunately, but I will definitely ask my graphic design friends.
I've seen a couple.
If there's anybody in here, please. Wait, I have people in here. Where's
I've seen a couple like tools in the video space, but nothing in the print space. And the video tools were, still up in the air on the quality, but it feels like you should be able to put an image or a video into some tool and be like, blow this up to infinite essentially, or
I think it's
1000x.
still a challenge though,
It is,
because
yeah.
even for the, but yeah, I told Dave Villalba was here not long ago, and he might know too. But Justin, I don't know if you know.
Yeah, yeah. I would just verify Illustrator does have vector. And if you DM me, I think there was a folk in somebody in the AI art today space who's always like dealing with vectors. I can touch bases with them and DM you. But like, there's a few AI to vector formats.
Yeah, and I do know of a few image like to vector where it just pulls out specific colors, creates a vector from that. But I mean in the sense that like as these images are being generated automatically, why in the background, why
Yep.
isn't that vector art already
Right.
just layering itself versus trying to unlayer it after the fact?
Yeah, like it's already happening in that way. So like why not just cut it up and give me the pieces or even give me the tools to be able to export those pieces. I feel that absolutely. It's not a problem with DPI or resolution, is it, Steven? That you're facing sometimes. Like, is that like you just don't want to go in and cut it up yourself? You want layers to this. Haha, see what I did there, Creatress and Valerie?
Exactly.
they're at the command station. They're at the battle station adding in laughter. Y'all are hilarious. That's funny. Oh, that's great.
But no, that's exactly hits the nail right on the head. I just, like I said, we almost seems like we're creating more work as though the AI is already layering those
Right.
individual pixels. It seems like we're doubling up. Why I could just do it automatically while it's generating the images. But what do I know yet?
I think you're right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's doing it.
I
So
think right quick in Illustrator, like you can do text to image and prompting, and then so you can actually create paths and vectors that way. So you're not converting it, and that tech is just going to get better and better as Adobe sort of scales up.
go ahead, Justin. You've had your hand up. Thanks for answering Steven's question too. Glad to have you. Thanks for
Yeah,
joining us.
thanks for listening. Of hearing or doing innovative stuff and meeting space and been following Heather and was you on in. But yeah, I have a question, but um 20 years VFX as like a technical director in sort of New York, and did a transition. I'm now calling in from Morocco, where I'm actually using machine learning as a sort of AI design with Moroccan artisans. So I think that the tech has a very interesting spin on it, where essentially we can uplift craftspeople and onboard craftspeople. So it's like an interesting sort of polarity where a lot of us in the world of automation, we rarely think of sort of handmade crafts, and I think that we can onboard artisans and do some pretty cool stuff. I posted something in the pill, but I'm also interested, given that I can leverage my VFX background. I'm interested in what folks think about gallery spaces and actual like exhibitions in real life, and sort of doing a component where you have like hybrid art, where you have like AI art, sort of videos and installations and stuff like that, where you can see like a plethora of different pieces, from actual um, like sculptural pieces to like video pieces and animations, and short films. So I'm kind of interested in folks' thoughts on that as the tech moves on.
I'm really into it. I think that we do need more of that. I've personally had my AI art, not just still images but videos, shown in exhibitions. I actually have some AI art showing in an exhibition on April 1st in New York at Loom Studios. So I know that that is something that's happening, and I've had my AI art, another video shown in Belgium as a projection on a building, actually. That was a couple months ago. So that's definitely happening. I do believe it needs to get like kicked up a bit more and to make it a, I don't know, something like, even one thing I did actually, which I think more events should do, is to host AI workshops. It doesn't have to be like a whole day thing. It could literally be like a 30-minute session where someone creates AI art live on a big screen at an event. And I did that at Valerie's event. If you don't know, Valerie didn't really mention this too much at the beginning, but she also hosts events. San Diego NFT Friends is the name of her ongoing meetups, and so she invited me to perform in VR, and then afterwards I did an AI kind of workshop for everybody who was there. So I took I took words from the audience, input from the audience, typed it in there, showed them how easy it was to upscale and change things. And so I think if more exhibitions included a little session like that for people, things would exponentially grow, and so many more people would kind of understand what's going on and maybe be into it. So yeah, that's kind of my hope for future when it comes to that.
Go ahead, Horace. Thanks for answering that question, Creatress, and chiming in. Thanks for your question, Justin.
Hey, what's up? I just wanted to say this is an awesome space. Thanks for hosting it, and all the great speakers and info. It's been awesome listening to. Super informative. I did want to second CapCut. I heard that a few times as a tool. I've been using that a lot for the last 6 months or so, and like, um, I don't know if it was mentioned, but like the CapCut desktop version has way more features than the mobile, even for free. But paying for Pro is worth it, in my opinion, too. The tools are super robust, AI included, which I know is talked about. And also, I wanted to add my hot take for the future of AI
Yeah,
tools.
please do.
I think I think Andre Karpathy, the co-founder of OpenAI, has even talked about this, that LLMs are going to replace whole operating systems. So, like some people were saying, like in a way, it just kind of knows. I think similar to like Spotify's day list, which is a new thing where it curates a playlist based on a day, sometimes even the time of day, and it always has like a new title for it, which can sometimes be a little roast on you. I've noticed. I don't know a good example, but it's pretty clever, and I think it's going to be something like that, but for what pretty much everything you could imagine.
Oh, you just
Um,
broke up with your girlfriend? Oh man, here's a playlist.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Apple's already I open my phone a lot and I have all my apps on one screen. And then when you swipe to the screen that there's no apps, it gives you all the recommendations or whatever. Or you can just hit the search button and it gives you like the top 4 apps up at the top that it thinks you're going to open at the time. And my phone pretty much always knows what I'm going to. It's like, is this guy about to place a sports bet? We think
Mhm.
so. Does he want to order DoorDash? We think so. And I'm like, you get out of here. Call my mom. Leave me
Yeah.
alone.
No, I mean, I think we touched on this a little bit earlier, but I do think that like just in time content is coming, and really kind of just in time everything is coming, led by LLMs to a large degree. Even to the point of like, playlists getting generated based on what, or an entire new song that you've never heard before being generated based on your mood in that moment, not just like, who is one of my favorite artists, but like the LLMs getting so good that you can ask it for exactly what you want at exactly that time, and it'll create a song that you've never heard before, and you're hearing it for the first time. And
Scary.
same thing with movies. And I'm even thinking like, there's potentially you come to a website, and the website is generated based on how you consume other content. So it knows you like short form content, or it knows you like to read more deeply into things, and so it can generate you the content based on the context in real time. And the compute power is going to be playing catch up, and the tools are going to be playing catch up. But the just in time generation of content, I feel like it's already kind of happening.
Yep.
But like going back to the art exhibit. Like if you're walking into an art show and that art show has a theme, and you're going to see that art that's being, it could be that it was just generated, you know like just that day for that theme, and you're seeing it for the first time. And it's, there's the sensors that we have available that are now getting attached to our body. And it kind of goes back into what Cam is saying too. Like his phone knows exactly which apps he's about to use, but like your watch knows where you are, and it knows that you like to go hiking, and it knows that you like to get your heart rate up, and so it's like, okay, you probably like active stuff, and so I'm just going to start showing you stuff on your phone, or on your TV, that are about active, because I already know everything about you. And it just feels like our world and technology are becoming one, and throw Neuralink in there, and it's ball game.
Pretty interesting. On the same thing, somebody in our Discord recently brought up, I don't know, many of you probably saw it, that Wendy's is talking about doing dynamic pricing, and it got tons of interest, or anger and hate, and some people on the web. But somebody in our Discord said, I actually programmed this for major companies, and tons of companies are already doing this, and they're just not telling you about it. And they said that it, depending on, like, for instance, like if you order McDonald's all the time from an app, McDonald's knows that that's who's ordering, and they will give you a quarter discount on whatever your thing is and make it look cheaper for you. And then at other times, for other people, it'll be more expensive. And it's really dynamic pricing based on timing for the restaurant, based on who's buying. And then they even brought up a thing that if somebody orders more food from an app, that the app knows it's more than just them, they'll give them a discount on it, so that the person they're with has some idea that the food is cheaper than it actually is. And that's because air quotes whale is ordering the food, so they're getting a little discount, and they know that they're feeding other people. And then when that person thinks that they're getting a discount, they go in to order later, and everything's more expensive for them. And I thought to myself, like, this is insanity, like this is like, we are really there.
Team.
Yeah, it's happening, and it's how bad do you want the coffee?
Did you pull up in a Mercedes, or did you pull up in a theater?
Yeah, what year? We need to see they read your VIN number as you sat in line for 1 second, and they're like, hey, this guy has a $1,200 car payment. We're charging him $10 per coffee. And he's definitely going to tip. Definitely hand him the tip thing out the window. Don't miss that opportunity. All right, we're way over. This is great. Yeah, thank you, ladies, so much for joining us today. I want to give each of you an opportunity to give a shout out, whatever you want to tell the people. Where can they follow you? What do you have coming up? How do we stay in touch with you, other than, of course, your X account? And everybody who's listening, definitely follow the speakers, especially the ladies that joined us today. They are incredible follows. Nothing but great energy on the timeline.
Also, a reminder for everybody who joined later is that, with this new kind of series, like I mentioned, we did season 1, this is kind of season 2. We're kicking this off. This is the first one, but we're doing something different in that we're going to be paying out the guests who were on the show. And so, we appreciate everybody's time. On chain. You're going to get paid out on chain. So, this time and these learnings are incredibly valuable. And what we've seen, Cam and I have participated in 1,000 spaces, and the learnings that we are providing, and that our guests today have provided, is incredibly valuable. Yeah. And so, we want to honor that value, and the guests that come on the show from here on out that we see, we're going to be paying them out. So we are so thankful for that. I just wanted to remind everybody that may have joined a little bit later that, we are so thankful for the energy and the knowledge that came to us in this space. So,
absolutely. Yep. Thanks for that, Tony. Heather, let's start with you. Where can people follow you? What are you up to right now? And, what's next? How can people keep up with everything Heather is doing?
First of all, thank you so much for hosting this space and for inviting me and the other speakers here. Just I learned so much from Creatress and Valerie. Thank you, Justin, for adding in your knowledge, and thank you for supporting me all this time too. But I appreciate that. I love this to be able to share and ideas because we don't often get to talk to each other. And just from having conversations and hearing each other's voices and giving it a little bit more personality there, it helps so much. So I appreciate that. And you all, I normally have a space every Friday. Every Friday, it's an AI catch up space. I'm not going to do it today. Today is Good Friday, and I am a little behind on some work. I wish I could take a evening off, but I have to do a lot of different things. But usually every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, please join us because we have a great panel and we have a lot of really good discussions about just latest tools. Last week we talked about basically what we're talking about here. What are the tools that we use? Why? We were talking about the subscriptionization of AI and how much some of these tools cost and which ones we felt were justified and why we use certain ones. So we talk about all those things, and you're always welcome to come to those. I'm here on X. I have a weekly newsletter. Please feel free to subscribe. Visually AI. It's free. A Substack newsletter, and I try to cover a little bit of everything with a visual focus, and including writing and productivity tools and things like that. So please subscribe. And I also am on Instagram and TikTok. Please, I'd appreciate if somebody would please follow me on TikTok. That's rough to grow. I'm working on it, but that's pretty rough. And YouTube, my YouTube channel. So if you go to my bio, it's in my link, the heatherbcooper.com. It has all those on there. And I have another newsletter on ConvertKit. I try to do something a little bit different for different audiences and just working on different types of content to teach everybody all the stuff I'm just privileged to have access to and to to enjoy working with. But thank you all. I appreciate you having me. Have a
Amen.
great weekend too.
Yeah, happy Easter to
Oh,
you. Thanks for joining. Go ahead.
soon I'll be on Rad TV.
Yeah, there we
That's
go.
yeah. As soon as
Hey.
I get it, my banner and everything up there, I'm excited about that. And just talking
We are
about
too.
this being minted, it's a whole new area. And we're gonna have you on soon to at my space so
Yep.
we can tell more creators about what other types of ways that you can monetize and create content, or even if you don't want to monetize, just have another platform
Yep. Yep.
for content distribution.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for that. We're excited to have you, Heather, and thanks for joining us today. You're so knowledgeable and wonderful energy, and your work is tremendous. If you guys haven't scrolled Heather's timeline, definitely do it. Tons to check out. Beautiful website and really informational. So if you're looking for somebody to follow in the AI space and kind of lead your journey there, she is a great resource and a wealth of information. Thanks for joining us, Heather. Creatress, how can everybody keep up with you and follow your journey moving forward?
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming and listening. You can find me at creatressart.com. That's CREATRESS art.com. Creatress Art on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm Creatress on most places. Creatress, just Creatress on Warpcast. But yeah, follow me anywhere you like. I am most likely there. Definitely on Rad, Creatress channel, and there's layers to this channel. Yeah, so stay tuned because there is a lot more coming. I imagine there'll be a ton of content coming out of New York. So definitely stay tuned. I generally post a lot of stories on the go on Instagram when I'm on trips. So if you want to see like the moment by moment plays, I suggest you go over there. Not everything makes it over to X, unfortunately. That's what I need is an AI tool that brings all of your content and just like distributes it everywhere. Because there is kind of that, but not completely yet. So someone work on that. And yeah, thanks for having us. We do host a space every Tuesday. But this upcoming week, since we'll be traveling, we're doing it on Monday. So I pinned that up at the top if you want to set your reminders. So thank you for joining us again. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, Creatress. You're awesome. Valerie, where should everybody follow you? And thank you so much, Queen, for joining us today. Your energy is incredible as well, and look forward to watching your journey. How can we stay up to date with you?
Thank you, King. I appreciate it. No, it's been great. This was an awesome show. I also learned so much. I was also taking notes. Heather was just dropping some great knowledge, so I appreciate that. I appreciate you, Cameron and Tony, for hosting the space for us today, and everyone who came up to speak and ask questions, and of course all the listeners that are here now and gonna listen to the recording. But yeah, I'd appreciate if you gave me a follow here on Twitter, of course. But also, I'm working on growing my following on Warpcast. Warpcast is a decentralized social media. I dropped it. I dropped the link in the comments here, but my handle is the same as it is in Twitter. So it's VDIZZLE 777. VDizzle 777. So yeah, go check it out. But yeah, if you guys can do me a favor as well, and just check the pinned tweets. We are a reminder. We are doing a giveaway for $100 in Bitcoin. I believe we're giving away $500 in total. So this is the second round that we're doing. We will be doing a third in New York. So come see us if you will be in New York during NFT NYC. If not, we will also be doing a couple more when we come back on our show. There's layers to this. So again, that's on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, also feel free to check out some of the other links that are in my bio. I do have a Web3 event planning and management company called Rug Edutainment. I love doing meetups and bigger events around showcasing all of the technology of blockchain, NFTs, AI, like all of it. And so I love bringing that to just the local people in entertaining ways. So I really truly believe people are going to adopt all of this if they're having fun with it. And so events and showcasing some of the tech in that way is one of the ways that I feel like people have been introduced into the tech in a low risk way and in a low risk environment. So yeah, feel free to reach out if you're looking to host an event where you live or you want some advice. I love doing that. And of course, if you're ever in San Diego, I'm based here, and I do have a monthly meetup called San Diego NFT Friends. We do a lot of the stuff that we're doing here in this space. We talk about all the tech, and we usually have a guest speaker or panel. So Creatress mentioned earlier in the show, she was a guest. And so, yeah, we have some pretty cool people. So if you guys are ever in San Diego and also want to be a guest, feel free to reach out. I'm always looking for people to showcase. So yeah, thank you again for having me. This was great. And yeah, catch us. There's layers to this on Rad TV.
Yeah. Rad TV got all anybody can upload.
Thank you for the love.
Yep. It was really fun talking with y'all, and thanks for joining us today. Tony, do you have anything to add before we wrap up?
No. This was incredible. First reboot of
feels good to be back.
Season 2 feels good.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it's just a reminder how little we know, hearing all this info and great knowledge. And yeah, so very exciting. So thankful to have everybody here and looking forward to the next one.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to leave you with this AI generated song about Rad TV. It's a hit, top 40 hits out here on.
Cam just made one 1 hour ago.
Yeah, in like 5
seconds.
Yeah, it's so great for a 30-second generation. So we're gonna leave you with that. You'll be able to catch this recording on Rad probably later this evening, I'm guessing. Take me a little bit to get it up, but it'll be up, and we'll be reaching out to Heather, Creatress, and Valerie for your addresses so that we can pay you on chain immediately at the time of sale. And we're very excited to be able to offer that, the only platform offering that. And anybody who's collaborating with people and creating content, if you're looking to have multiple payouts, we're the only place that allows it. So feel free to reach out to us in DMs or join us in Discord and ask any questions you have. Happy to help however we can. Once again, thanks for listening today. Hope you all have a great Good Friday and a happy Easter and a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in. See y'all soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Rad TV, they're breaking down the walls, empowering creators to answer the call. Web3 and AI, now they're leading the way, distributing and monetizing a brand new day. Putting power back
So
in
good.
hands, creators and fans unite. With apps on every device, they bring delight. Oh yeah. Revolution of creativity, it's taking flight. Rad TV, the future is bright. Yeah, 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 yeah. Rad TV, changing the game, breaking the mold.
Oh man, so good.
Empower creators,
We're gonna have to refine it. We're gonna have to, but like, it's so good.
with Web3 and
Love it.
AI, they pave the
Oh,
way.
man.
Reimagining the future.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a good weekend. See y'all out there.
Bye.